Hey everyone, this is Guy from Nominal, and welcome to another episode of Bottom Lines, our video series in which we explore how AI can bring tangible value to accounting and finance departments today.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited to kick off our webinar on AI agents and finance and accounting, the truth behind the hype. This webinar series is all about building a community where finance and accounting professionals can chat openly, share real experiences, and connect with other like-minded leaders. We want to create a space for authentic knowledge sharing where we can all learn from each other. Whether you are just AI curious or already implemented these tools, we're thrilled to have you as part of this growing community of finance innovators. Today, I've got our Nominal CEO Guy here with me, who's going to walk us through how the concept of AI agents are transforming finance and accounting teams. Guy is very passionate about this space and cannot wait to dive in with all of you. So without further ado, let's get the conversation started. Welcome, Guy.
Thank you, Judy. Today we're going to talk about AI agents in finance and accounting, but we're going to make it as hands-on as possible. We're not going to talk about fluff. We're going to talk about what AI agents do today, not in 5 years. Because that is not about a machine learning primer with complex formulas. It's not about the server of every language model. It's not a futuristic vision of where finance will be in 10 years from now. And this is not about nominal. It's about saving time and money and reducing errors. And that's exactly what the future of AI, and especially agentic AI, bring to the table. There's a lot of buzzwords, but the truth is that we should only care when it can improve our lives or it will take our jobs. I'm going to talk about this towards the end of this session and answer the most urgent question, which is, will AI take our jobs? Will it eliminate our jobs or not? I have a unique answer for that, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So who am I? I'm the co-founder and CEO of Nominal. I'm a data scientist or entrepreneur. I'm a tech executive and investor in funds and a prolific angel investor as well. I wrote 4 patents on AI. Actually, now we're releasing our 2 patents on agentic AI. And I sold the company in the AI space back in 2019. And we did AI before it was cool. So there's a lot of buzzwords around AI, from foundational models to AI assistants. We see all kind of different conversation about what to do what, but I think I just want to explain a little bit, right? So the Gen AI started, there was the ChatGPT moment in 2022, and there was the AI assistants in 2023, and now we're talking about agents. So what agents are? Agents offload human work with AI. There are 3 different agents. There's transactional agents in the world of accounting and finance that process transactional data. There's unstructured agents that take documents, invoices, spreadsheets, and then do something in accounting. And there's aging assistants. So it's very similar to the controller role and the FP&A role, right? So you have to process transactions, you have to process documents, or you need to answer questions. That's basically the premise of agent. We believe that the offloading will allow controllers and finance professionals to do strategic work and not manual. Digital labor is inevitable, especially in the world of accounting and finance. So 75% of CPAs retire in the next 15 years. The problem is that no one's taking the test. The number of people taking the CPA exam has been the lowest in 17 years. So we're going to see tens of thousands of CPAs leaving the profession. No one's taking the CPA exam. And we see many controllers and finance professionals moving out of the profession, right? Even our own go-to-market team has a CPA degree. It's a really dying profession. We can see it also in the increasing wages for controllers. And what are we going to do when we have such a big gap between what the market needs and the amount of CPAs and talent that is out there? Businesses are not getting any simpler in 2025. And those CPAs are working a lot on manual work, dealing with Excel, dealing with data entry. There's no communication at times. There's a lot of work, a lot of tedious, a lot of legwork, a lot of bookkeeping that the finance professional do, and agents can offload it. Indeed, 71% of CFOs, according to Deloitte research in 2023, 71% of CFOs cite automation, efficiency, and insights as the most promising uses of generative AI. But this is not the science fiction, this is science today. So I want to explain a little bit what an agent is. I'm going to get a little bit technical here. And if you don't understand this part, that's okay. Still get the value from this webinar. But this is for the people who really likes to dive into the architecture, so you can sound smarter in your next chat with your colleagues. This is how an agent works. First of all, there's a trigger. And the trigger could be different things. The trigger could be either a check, like in a system like ChatGPT. It could be something that happens in the world. For instance, there's a journal entry. So there's a trigger coming somewhere. Or it could be even an uploaded file. So someone uploads a file to the system, and we're going to show all of that soon. Agent is unique because it takes basically stepwise instruction, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then it can create action. In our case, is journal entry, invoice, ICT, etc., bills, etc. So that's what an agent do. One of the issues with LLMs today is hallucinations, right? Hallucination is a very, very big issue, especially in finance. I'm going to talk about that because that's kind of another burning issue, right? How can we let AI do our finance and accounting when ChatGPT is not as smart or is not as efficient or accurate as human being? You know what I'm talking about it? Something that the advanced agents do, they have a critique. So on the right here, the stepwise instruction, I'm going to show you an example, basically prompts. And it's called the technical name is a chain of thought. You explain step by step to the agent, this is what you do. Very, very similar to what you would do with a human. The same way that you will teach a human to do a task, will teach the agent to do a task with stepwise instruction. And something that the most advanced agent have is a critique. A critique is a way to overcome hallucination. In our case, we've seen improvement from 40%, even 95% of accuracy. And what the critique does, it basically self-correct the agent, says, hey, this doesn't make sense, try again, try to do this, try to do that. So that's what the critique does. And there is an agent toolkit. The agent has the steps, but needs to perform actions. That's what makes it an agent. It could do an API, there's a calculator, there's some domain knowledge. It's basically a little self-sustained unit that can take data and perform actions. So it doesn't really answer questions as much. Its entire reason to exist is to perform action and offload a human work. That's what makes this entire new world very exciting, because if ChatGPT was kind of a know-all Oracle, agents are kind of the next to the AI assistants like MoveWorks and Glean that created more specific enterprise level assistants that you can ask questions and retrieve information. This is not about retrieval. This is about doing the actions and offloading the work. We believe that the agentic workflows are the cutting edge. They take actions, they take prompts, they have a trigger. This is the framework to think about an agent. But accounting is different, right? And if there's one thing that you take from this webinar, is that there are two ways to think about. I've just came back from San Francisco. I took a Waymo. That's crazy, right? It drives by itself. It's an autopilot. When I drive my own car here in New York City, I use GPS. So there's a recommendation system that tells me where to go, and not just a self-driving car. And this is the way that we should think about AI. AI should be our co-pilot, not the autopilot, because at the end of the day, it's really important to keep the books correct and to be audit ready. So that's why we believe that the end result, the data entry, the calculation, etc., should always be reviewed and approved by a human. And we see kind of a synergy between humans and machines where humans are transforming from being doers to reviewers. So instead of us doing the work, we're just going to review the agent work. So the agents will do all the legwork and we will automate everything. Today, we're going to do 4 parts. We're going to show our system and 4 parts of different agents. We're going to see a assistant powered by agentic toolkit. We're going to see human and agent collaboration. We're going to see AI assistant detecting structured example. The first thing, we're going to see how human and machine work together. So that's where we're headed. Knowledge workers are being disrupted in other spheres, right? You have Harvey for law, for customer success, and intercode with Fin. So we see knowledge workers are being disrupted. We think that with finance and accounting is going to be, the bar is way, way higher because of the integrity of the books. And that's why, similar to Harvey and to other companies, we are always looking to improve the results, and that's what we need human beings. We ourselves, as a company, as a software vendor, we use a lot extensively. We use GitHub Copilot and Cursor. We use Anthropic. Now they release 3.7. As a small organization, we see the benefits of using agentic AI ourselves. And a customer actually saves time by offloading this expensive and scarce manual work to agents. Let me show you how. We just want to focus on the agentic part to showcase and explain the concept. 4 concepts: the AI assistants, humans and agent collaborate together, structure example, and we're going to talk about human and machine interactions. And then we're going to talk about some things of the future. So let's show those 3 actions. I'm going to dive deep exactly to how an agent looks like. And then we're going to go from there and explain different configurations and flavors of agents. Here I have a task of finding a unilateral elimination entry when you have 2 subsidiaries interacting. We see that in manufacturing, agriculture, and energy. See a single-sided intercompany transaction, and we are looking to find the match to eliminate that at the group level. So this is how the agent looks like. There is an activity, we're going to talk about that. There's a description, but then there is an output. So this is what you need to do. Agent, you need to create a journal entry. The first thing that we do is define the objective and then the stepwise instruction. For instance, here the objective is to aggregate various individual records into a unified intercompany transaction. So that's what the agent should do. And then we create a step-by-step, because the execution is done step-by-step. Remember the critique. The critique can actually go for a step in this chain of thought and self-correct itself as it goes. So that's why it's a step-by-step. And chain of thought is a technique that was discovered not too long ago. And the idea here is you have to separate it to different tasks, because if you try to do all at once for some reason, because of context window limitation and other limitation, the AI cannot do everything at once. So it rather get step-by-step instructions. So here we just wrote and taught the agent, this is what we want to do. And you must find this additional measure to proceed. If there's a discrepancy, how to process, tag all deadlines, etc. And that's what the agent will do. The trigger here is a journal entry. This is the trigger, event source, new journal entry. And then once there is a new journal entry, we try to find the matching elimination. In our case, I'm going to show other examples as well. What the agent will do when we compare Copilot to Autopilot, we found a transaction. Now what? AI agents cannot just write to the books immediately. There's a segregation of duty concept, as we all know, especially when there is audit trail, etc. And the main thing that we want to show here is really how it works. So first of all, is audit trail, super important. And there's a task created by agent, which is great. The review draft intercompany. I can assign a reviewer, and at the end of the day, I found this transaction. It looks okay. I can just press sign off here, and then the transaction will be written to the back. So the agent now recommends me an action. So before I had to look for all the journal entries, etc., what we can do now is basically just sign it off, write it back, and the agent will perform the action. One thing about the way the agents are configured. Other agents that I want to show is actually a much more interesting workflow, which is a structured workflow. And structural workflow is also pretty cool. In this example, I have a payroll automation, and here I also defined the stepwise, the chain of thought of how to process this unstructured data. So you can add a file, drag and drop, and now the agent will perform a human action. The agent explains to us in real time what does it do. And very similar to the structure agent, we created those tests, right? So here, for example, there is salaries, and we took a payroll from a system and converted it into those accruals based on Excel. So you can take either structured data like journal entry or Excel. That's basically the two options, very similar. You can see also the co-pilot concept. That's basically how agents work in a structured and unstructured setting. But agents do much more, right? Agents can go to different type and do reasoning as well. So here we found an agent. I'm going to show a much deeper example of how we do it, that this agent can actually go and provide analysis and flux analysis. I want to show something really cool. It's the combination of a ChatGPT-like analysis with an agentic toolkit. I can say, this is Nominal, we're connected to the GL. What you're going to see now is how assistants and agents collaborate together. Let me show you an example. Show me 5 open. Okay, show you even better one. Show me the P&L of the group. Now you can see what Nominal is. The assistant calls the report API that we have. Now is looking for the report data. And he found an empty P&L, which is interesting. Can we see the P&L of last quarter? Okay, that's much better. Very good. Can you compare it to the quarter before? And now we can ask, and again, we can go and find the report. But it also has a calculator. So let's see if it's going to work. Can you calculate the differences between each line item in the table above? Okay, awesome. Can you present it in a bar chart? Make negative numbers red and positive, let's say green. Yeah, that's really cool. And this is the difference in P&L. So that's just one example. I can ask, show me 5 open tasks, and now it will access a different part of the toolkit, which is basically our task management and resource management. So you see the agent will access the task. I think the beautiful thing is understanding exactly what tool to use from the toolkit. When it's for P&L, he went to report. Now when I'm asking for task, I'm going to task. Okay, so right now we don't have any open tasks, but you also understand the different tasks as well. Okay, so let's talk about the digital work here, right? So I just showed you how AI and agent can replace human work. One was transaction processing, matching different intercompany. It could be other reconciliation. We could actually go and create, for instance, logic regarding capital expenditure, group depreciation, how customer use different things from different accruals, different balance sheet reversal, etc. The options are endless to offload human work and to make sure that AI limit manual work. So finance professionals can focus on strategy, not spreadsheets. But what we believe is that this digital work is going to change completely the way that tech and finance work together. This is my projection for the future. The first thing is that the business model is going to change. I remember the days that we used to buy software as a capital expenditure, then the cloud came and we leased essentially software, right? So we pay per month or we recognize revenue per month. But I think that the agentic workforce is going to change a little bit, even the pricing models. We're not going to pay per license per month. We're going to pay by the amount of tasks that are completed correctly. This is going to be a change of business models, and it's going to be hard to predict. I think it's really interesting. The second thing is the pricing pressure that we foresee. The technology moves really, really fast. The thing is that you're going to use a vendor based on the different skills that they're going to provide. And those skills are going to become better and better. If you look for an FP&A agent, you go to this company. If you look for controllership, you can go to us or to a different vendor. The main idea here is that we're going to see some pricing pressures based on the skills, because you can hire everything and fire an agent, you can hire a different agent. So that will explain the pricing pressure. The price is going to go down and the value is going to be much higher than today. So today is kind of the year 2000 for the cloud. This is the first year of agentic workforce. In 5 years, it's going to be kind of the staple in the profession. The good agents will win on engineering. It's not just the ability to perform the task, it's the ability to create, for instance, a copilot, to get the data in the right way, to do it fast. So I think it's not about the AI, it's about the engineering and the product that wraps this core skill in a way that humans can actually interact and work with it. It's not just about who has the best AI models, it's more about the product itself and the engineering behind it. And the third thing is what we believe is that agent and understanding agent and agent configuration will evolve the controllership role. Back in the 80s or early 90s, when Excel was introduced, accountants were a bit afraid. We used to do things manually with a pen and paper, but now Excel is kind of a fundamental skill. If you work in finance and accounting, you have to know Excel well. And we believe in 5 to 10 years, understanding agent and configuring agent and reviewing agent and fine-tuning agent, that would be a different skill, a required skill for anyone who's dealing in finance and accounting, and actually, to be honest, with every knowledge worker. So in law, in finance, obviously, in customer success, in every system that requires, in software development, obviously, every system that needs, that has basically knowledge work, or requires knowledge worker, we will see this transition towards understanding of agent so the tedium can be offloaded. Your prediction about the future, I don't have a crystal ball, but that's what we're going to see. We're going to see the continuous close. Close is the concept that the books are being closed almost on a daily basis. Some of our customers actually close and reconcile the cash on a daily basis because of scale. The idea is really to do a continuous close, not just for the cash account, but for all the balance sheet accounts and the P&L as well. So all the trial balance will be done because we don't have to wait for the month. The agent can do the work for us and we can do strategy instead. The second thing is provided by the customer, provided by AI. I just you know me, I need a P&L, I need this, I need that, and you want to create a graph. Think about a world when a big four as an assistant or an agent, and they connect it to your agent, and the requirement provided by customer will be provided by AI. You're going to create the reporting package. The auditor and AI will validate the output, and they're going to work together to finish an audit in an hour or like in 5 minutes, to be honest. Humans will have to review because the agent don't know everything or provide explanations, but I think it could automate the entire audit process. And the third thing is we're going to see systems moving from a system of record to a system of intelligence. We're going to see ERPs, we're going to see CRMs, we're going to see all the financial software, FP&A. We're going to move into more a system of intelligence that will, instead of just being a place when you enter data, it would be a place when you get the insights back. Recommendation, insights, analysis will be given to you instead of you entering the data. So we're going to see this shift in different software as well. This is what we see in the next few years, to be honest. Question that often asked, is it safe to use AI with sensitive financial data? The answer is, it depends if you implement it right. One thing that we recommend is if you work with ChatGPT or Claude, make sure that you use either the Teams version or you say specifically in the setting that you're not sharing the information with OpenAI or Anthropic or any of those vendors. This is super important. For us, we're the first agentic company in the world to get SOC 1 certification. We worked really hard with our auditors To do so, make sure that if you're public, obviously, make sure that you work with a vendor that has SOC 1 certification. In general, it's really important to make sure that your data is not being used for training. My background in cybersecurity, the company that I sold was an AI cybersecurity company before it was cool. Pay attention to that, because we're going to see in the next few years a lot of data leakage, a lot of data breaches because of AI. I think DeepSeek was an interesting example. For instance, I would not recommend you using DeepSeek, which is kind of the Chinese GPT, just to make sure that your data is not compromised. It's better to go with Anthropic or OpenAI. Those are the two fundamental models that we are using. The big question is, will AI replace us? Will AI eliminate jobs or create jobs? This is the number of people or the percentage of American workforce in agriculture. But the supermarkets and everything are all full with food, right? There's no food shortage in the US right now. And the reason is automation. What AI will do, and this is what we believe it will do, it will eliminate tasks, not job. It will make and elevate the controllership, the finance, the FP&A role into a much more strategic function. It will create jobs like financial agent, creator, someone who will do fine tuning, etc. There's going to be a very valuable skill in the workforce in the next 3 to 5 years. Agents are going to be anywhere. Even today, if you are using ChatGPT or Anthropic, the ability to write and craft different prompts, it's crucial, right? Even with my example, I tried with the prompt, with the tasks. Probably if you know to ask the right question, if you know the prompting, those models are going to be much better over time. If you can understand the hacks and how to use, connect, create the agentic workflow, create the toolkit, create the different steps, how to look at the critique, understanding the feedback from a critique, refining the prompts, creating more steps, making sure that your system is audit ready, etc. I think that would be a valuable skill. So we're going to see more jobs, but they're going to be more elevated. Already the wages for controllers have risen significantly in the last couple of years. We're going to see this trend accelerating in the upcoming years. As I said before, there's no one left. No one's taking the exam, and everybody is basically finance and accounting are endangered species, especially right now with the current administration. H-1B visas are also going to be scarce to different knowledge workers. So at the end of the day, agentic workforce are inevitable. That's basically kind of the main key, the main takeaway here. AI is not going to take your job. Implement AI in a secure way. The difference between a co-pilot to an autopilot, making sure that if you can find a vendor, make sure they have a SOC 1 certification. Another key takeaway is understanding that agents, what the difference between agent and assistants. Agent perform work and they don't deal with retrieval, and assistant mostly do retrieval. So that's basically the difference. And obviously, as I showed you, there is a combination or a mix between an agent toolkit and assistant. So it's all kind of the lines are blurred a little bit, but that's where the future holds for us. As I said before, the profession of accounting, the profession of finance is going to be evolved. AI won't take your job, but someone using it will. Judy?
Thanks, Guy. This is a great session. Before we let you go, we would like to ask you a few questions just to hone in on the key takeaways for our audience. So for all these finance and accounting leaders that are considering AI or moving into the AI era, what would you recommend them evaluating their current process so then they know which AI they should tackle first, or which part of their workflows or operations that the AI will be able to help them first?
That's a great question. I think a good place to look is where you do your Excel and spreadsheet work. Like you do analysis when you have to crunch a lot of data and create a story or a narrative behind it. That's something that AI can do really well. They can data, crunch the numbers, provide the narrative. For instance, variance analysis is something that we've seen really often. It's kind of perfect use case for Gen AI. And the second one is Excel. So look for those Excels that have 20, 30, 40 different tabs. The risk with those Excel spreadsheets is not only that you're wasting time on doing tedious and manual work, But the actual risk is one, this is not future proof, right? If your company wants to grow, they cannot use Excel to the end of time. And second, there's a compliance issue as well, right? So if there's a mistake, you have to make sure to ask yourself, can those Excel be automated? And if you feel like the answer is yes, probably today with 2025 technology, with this new fundamental models, those can be probably automated. But it's a case by case analysis.
That's awesome. So what I'm hearing is when you're evaluating your workflow and operations, the two parts that you wanted to take a look at is first, if there are anything that you need to tell a narrative or tell the story within your data, that's something that AI will be able to help. The second part is evaluating the portion where your operations or workflow heavily depends on Excel spreadsheets. If you have 20 to 100 tabs open, definitely review that process and see if those Excels can be automated. If it's so, then we should definitely consider AI solution for that. Is that correct?
Exactly, Julian. And one more thing is, if you're planning to hire, why are we hiring? Can we make our team 10, 20% better, more efficient, so we can postpone this hire?
Got it. Thanks, Guy. So second question, when you as a leader evaluating any AI tools, what are the must-haves that you would consider? For example, is it time saving? Is it productivity increase? Or is there anything you would say from a leader to another leader before you implement any AI tools? This is what you must look for, and this is what I would recommend.
Sure, coming from security background, look for SOC 2, that's a must, and look for SOC 1. The second thing, ask the vendor, what kind of controls do you have? Is there a role-based access management? What models are you using? If someone is using DeepSeek, I will be a little apprehensive to work with. Where's the data? What's the what we call basically a data processing agreement, DPA? So there's a lot of things to think. That's on the security and privacy side. The second thing is the ask a vendor. How do you mitigate hallucination? Are you going to write things to the books automatically? One example that we use is GitHub Copilot, which writes code. In our case, there's a software developer. It increased our productivity by 10 to 25%. And we really proceed with cautious, right? We did baby step. We tried to roll it out in one team and then another team, and then the entire company, the entire R&D used Copilot and other different generative code tools, and they're just getting better. So we started early on. The idea is really to have the state of mind that you have to embrace it early on, but proceed with caution.
So Guy, last question. Can you share some of your favorite AI tools that you use personally and you can share with the audience?
Yes, 100%. The first tool that I really like using is obviously ChatGPT is everything, but one thing that I love to use is Anthropic. There are two flavors with Anthropic. The first one is the ability to generate apps, and I think it's really cool. Everybody can create an app. For more advanced users, they can look at two companies, Bolt and Lovable. There's a third company founded by a friend of mine called Base44. I love Claude. And Claude can create apps. We can say, I want to create an app that does this and that. We had an example in a previous webinar where we can drag and drop a pro forma and create a full dashboard out of Excel. It's really cool. I think the first thing is utilizing the code generation and the ability to execute and run software. The second thing is the project or the assistant that GPT has of OpenAI. So what they provide is they allow you to use something called RAG. Basically, RAG is a vector database that you can take all the knowledge that you have in an organization. In our case, we use all the marketing information, all the product information, put it to the knowledge base of OpenAI, and now it creates our marketing, one-pagers, campaigns, understand the company, the voice of the brand, and can create marketing stuff. So I think I'm using actually the foundational model, ChatGPT and Anthropic as our main tools. The third tool that we're looking to utilize are basically full app end-to-end implementations, companies like Lovable and Base44, as well as our IDEs that are Cursor as well. So basically, you start typing the code and the AI just completes it for you, and that results in a ton of efficiency and productivity gains.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for this amazing section. We'll be hosting additional webinars in the coming months. Stay tuned and follow us. If you're interested in learning more about Nominal, please visit our website at nominal.so. Thank you. See you next time.